day, it feels like. So I am in San Diego, California. I'm going to do a quick backstory if that works for you. So we
Yeah.
moved here from West Virginia. So my family and my husband's family are all a couple thousand miles away. So when the pandemic hit, we were a little like, whoo, we are alone out here. We've been on here for about 5 years and do love it, but this has been a very different year. Let's see, my kids are 4 and almost 7. So I've got a pre-K and a first grader. See if I can even get that straight. I am no teacher here. And my first grader has been online school since March. We never flipped back. It was never even hinted at that he might go back to school. It's a public school district, so they released a statement in the summer saying we will be the strictest in the nation. We will be the safest, and don't even get your hopes up, mom and dad. Like, figure out a plan because we're going to be online and it's going to stay that way for a while. And then of course my pre-K, their school closed almost immediately back in March, and we, we're all at home, but they did open back up over the summertime. So we'd started out last spring. My husband and I both work from home. We were fortunate enough to be able to take both of our jobs online and do that. But then we had 2 very small kids at home that needed a ton of help. And so almost immediately upon hearing the news that school was closed, even for the first week or 2, we said, like, we have to have a plan. So we quickly buddied up with some neighbor friends since we don't have family out here. And so then we had 4 working parents instead of 2. So we were trying to juggle 4 different jobs and 4 different kids. So they have 2 small boys, and we felt like it was a very fair trade-off. But
Mm-hmm.
initially we started out a system where we would pass all 4 kids to one parent at a time. So we all got to work about 75% of the time. And then we were all also like utilizing the government COVID hours, taking a partial pay hit there. And that went on through part of summer. And then of course school's out. And then when they announced that school was going to be forever on hold, we said we have to come up with a different plan for September, because while this is like great and we have our little commune and it's far better than nothing, we also all felt like we were just like barely above water. So this fall, and I feel so fortunate to even be able to say this, but we ended up hiring she's really the aunt of the other family, but she's a college age student that's studying education. So we have now a shared nanny situation where she helps the kids with school. Yeah, like so thankful and so helpful. Like, it has been game changing for all of our careers and the kids' happiness in general. And then we also did decide to send my youngest back to pre-K this fall. So he goes like 3 half days a week. He's preparing for kindergarten for next year. And we just felt like, I mean, all safety measures in place, that he needed to have some interaction and social time to get ready for that school year next year. So that's where we are.
Wow. And so I love hearing the impact it makes on the school system and, from state to state. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're doing good. Way to go, Mom.
Well,
Wow.
no, I mean, we are, it's like, I wanted to be able to tell you, like, just if whoever's listening, like, stay flexible. It has changed. It feels like every couple weeks it changes. And even last week, I decided to travel for work, which felt like a really great work and mom career move. But then when I got back, I realized that the place I had been was like very unsafe. So I had to then share that with the other family and the nanny. And then we had to readjust for a week or so and make sure, I wasn't positive and carrying something back from out of state. So it's kind of always changing and never easy.
Never easy. Doable, but not easy.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay. I really, really appreciate that. Now, what is your profession? What do you do for your job?
So I do marketing for an architecture firm. That's the short answer. So the firm that I work for, we do a lot of work in the hospitality world, which is a super scary industry right now. Hotels are shut down. Everything is just kind of on hold. And a lot of the big businesses that we were working for are also scared for their financial well-being. So everything's got really quiet at first, and it's kind of slowly starting to build back up. But so
Okay.
I guess I can expand on that a little bit. Marketing for architecture just sounds so vague, but I try and win work for the firm, so new projects coming in, and we prepare for interviews, write proposals, and then kind of on the back end of things, document the projects that are already completed with photography and writing sort of thing.
You get to do the fun part, the showy
I
fun
think
part.
so. I've switched over. I had a nice little flip there. I used to do the hard part.
That's great. I love it. I'm sure you're great at what you do. Okay, so tell me what you think is like the thing, the most challenging thing about being a working mom in 2020.
Oh,
What's like big picture, hardest thing?
I think it's like the hardest thing about being a working mom in general, but it's just amplified times 10 this year. I feel pulled in so many different directions, and I feel like there are 10 blog posts already written about this, so I'm probably going to say it in a less satisfactory way. But when I'm being a mom, I feel like I'm not fully a mom, and when I'm being an employee, I feel like I'm not fully there. And same thing, like being a spouse and a wife, like I want to be all in for each of these things, but there's always kind of something in the background pulling one direction or another. And bringing school home, and then all being at home in this tiny house all day, like we're kind of doing all the things all at the same time, which is challenging.
Gotcha. Okay. So considering you can't do all the things, what is one thing that you just kind of let go of this year? You know what? It's not going to get done. I can't worry
Yeah,
about it. What's your thing?
I've let go of so many things. First of all, like high heels. No, I used to wear like shoes to work, but that was the first thing to go. um, I think a recent thing that comes to mind for me that we've let go of is where my children sleep, and where, when, how they fall asleep. We all have big days. My 6-year-old is on Zoom 4 times a day. And if, for me, if he wants to fall asleep on the couch watching, we watch Night on Earth a lot, then so be it. Like that can be his chill time in the evening. Um, so where they've slept, like they have bunk beds, they sometimes switch beds, they sometimes sleep together, sometimes they're in the living room, sometimes they're on the floor. So we just kind of let that go. The house is usually a wreck. I clean this space because it's my office, my laundry room, my bedroom, and all things in one room. So it stays picked up, but the rest of it's trash downstairs. Um, and gosh, another thing, speaking of like the mess, something that I was really into before COVID was really minimizing my things and kind of practicing some aspects of minimalism and like
Cool.
reducing my lifestyle, which is a very positive way to live. But during pandemic, during crisis, being at home, I had to let a lot of that go. I think emotionally, my kids and even maybe myself and my spouse sometimes they're attached to things because there aren't people around. They're attached to toys. They get something big. Sometimes we're keeping like boxes and decorating them right now. So sometimes I feel like there's just trash in my living room, but it's trash that they've created. They've made a fort out of it. They've made a robot out of recycled materials, and we're keeping all of those things that I would have never kept before.
Hmm.
So
Us too. I got a lot of box projects
a
in my
lot of
house. It's
boxes
funny that you
and
say
boxes.
that.
My little guy's really into putting googly eyes on all the boxes, so then they have like emotions at that point. So there's no way we're getting rid of them.
Personalities.
Yes.
That's great. Okay, so I guess last thing is tell me, just for, to end on a positive note, what's your favorite silver lining of being quarantined with your kiddos, like, and your husband and the whole shebang? Like, what's your favorite silver
This
lining?
one's easy. It's the morning. The morning is so less rushed. I don't set an alarm anymore. I let my kids wake me up, which they wake up at like 6 to 7 a.m. So it's not like I'm snoozing in, but also there's no rush to get out the door. I get to lay in bed and snuggle up with the whole family sometimes. And I think the mornings are just, we kind of got that time back that we never had before.
That's great. I love that. I really, really love that. Okay, well, thank you for chatting. Any last tips for
Oh,
surviving?
yeah. So my kids, I asked my kids, what's your tip for surviving 2020 being at home? And so I asked them, and they said wear a mask. So wear a mask, everyone,
Mm-hmm. Thank you so
from
much,
the mouth
Emma.
of babes. Yep. All
Oh my
right.
gosh, thank you.
Fingers